It would come as no surprise to say that optimists are probably better at dealing with stress than pessimists, but it's really not known why, physiologically speaking. Well, now a possible explanation from a study of the so-called stress hormone, cortisol. Joelle Jobin is a doctoral candidate in Concordia's Department of Psychology, and welcome.
Thank you.
So what exactly is this thing, cortisol, and what's its relationship to stress?
Well, cortisol is actually a stress hormone. We've dubbed it the stress hormone, and when we're faced with situations that are threatening or scary, it's the hormone that we release. And you know, it's really important that we realize what impact it can have on the body. And so even though we need cortisol to function on a day-to-day basis, high levels of cortisol can affect our immune system. So in the short term, we can actually be more prone to having infections.
That's what we said, but when you're all stressed out, you tend to get sick more.
Exactly.
But it's got to be difficult to study stress because it's a very subjective thing, isn't it?
It is subjective, and everyone experiences stress very differently, which is why we asked our individuals in our study to rate exactly how stressed or overwhelmed they felt during the course of the day, because everyone's different. For some people, going to the store on a Saturday morning may be very stressful, but for other people, they might look forward to their shopping experience.
So what did you find about, pessimists and what happens with cortisol?
So what we found was that essentially pessimists generally perceive situations to be more stressful than optimists. This is something that we already knew. But what was novel, what we found was that when pessimists experience a level of stress that is higher than what they're accustomed to, they tend to release higher levels of cortisol. The optimists, so individuals that look at the bright side of things and expect things to work out, were protected from having that increase in cortisol.
Okay, so they're not regulating it as much, right? The
The pessimists don't regulate it quite as well as the optimists.
So what can we take away from this, though? I mean, is there something from this that we can use in our day-to-day life?
Definitely. I think our study shows that having a positive outlook can really protect the body from the impacts of stress. So really, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to work out, if things are going to work out well or not. So we may as well expect the best, and in that way, we'll be protected from the negative effects of stress.
But one of the things I think that people forget is not all stress is bad, right? We do need a little bit of stress. I mean, as we were both sitting here and if somebody was counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you become alert. I mean, there is a certain level of stress that you need in your life.
Oh, definitely. We need an amount of stress to be able to perform at our best. And so too little stress is a bad thing because we're not motivated to go out and do things. So we need a certain amount of stress, but like all things in life, it's a question about moderation. Because if you go into the high levels of stress, that's when you enter the fight or flight mode, and that's when you can't think as clearly, you don't make the correct decisions, and then that's when things start to unravel.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
And explaining things so well for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.